Discovery, go and throttle up. Discovery, go and throttle up. Discovery, go and throttle up. Your lies are balloons, they pop in my face. I'll stop on the floor, leave no empty space. A carnival riot, no room for disgrace. Buttons clicking, hearts are ticking. Fists are flying, skies are splitting. Dance with the chaos. Discovery, go and throttle up.
Okay, are we back? Oh, are we back? Stand by. Coming back? Hello? The rumors of my demise were greatly exaggerated. What's going on, everybody? How are you? Oh, boy. You have a good Thanksgiving? Have a good week? Good? No? Yes? Maybe? It's been 84 years. So, let's go through the list of resubs that happened there. So, Sun Temple at a 52. Arg Blue at a 70.
Discovery,
Steve Ree at a 12. Nice. Darth Handman at 124. Nick Nack, 44 months. Oh, God.
Discovery,
oh, God.
Throttle up.
Oh, God. No, don't. McCheeto! 70 months. Hellfish with a 76. And Ephemeral just gave out 5. Gold Fever has 19.
Oh, this is space. I'm in space.
Thank you. Welcome back. Thank you. It's good to be back. I did nothing last week. I did nothing.
Go and throttle up.
Nothing but eat turkey. Yeah, well, drive to Michigan, but that's fine. Yeah. Dean, over on the YouTube chat, just gifted 10 membies. 10 memberships. Welcome to Mission Control, everybody over there.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Jeez. Firebird with 58 monther, Make with 126 monther. Let's go. Yeah.
Discovery,
We're gonna
go and
start.
throttle up.
We're gonna start with a rocket launch. We have the Arianespace with the VV28 launch coverage that should be happening here momentarily.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Yeah, just 7 days, another but turkey. Yeah.
Discovery, go and
Did
throttle up.
absolutely nothing, and it was everything I thought it could be. Yeah, I purposely didn't bring any electronics with me except for my phone. How was the snow in Michigan? Don't know. I got out of there before we got out before it started snowing. It was 23 degrees though. It was cold. 23 with wind chill, so it felt like 11. It was really, really freaking cold. You've had a terrible week because chest infections suck. Yeah. The space news is going to be spicy, right? Space news will be something, man. I did keep my phone, and I have been keeping track of it. Boeing and NASA agreed for Starliner to only fly 4 missions. Okay. What else happened? We had the EIS for Pad 37 pass, which is great. So SpaceX is going to get Starship pads. Yeah, dude, a lot of good stuff. Arianespace. All right. Here we go. Oh, can't do that. Can't do that. Yep. Can't do that. Soyuz pad prolapse. Dude, what happened? What happened over there? Oh my goodness. There was a Soyuz launch that went out of Baikonur, out of Site 31 at Baikonur, and the pad blew up. Like, hey, good fella, 45 months, stubborn bucket. 36 months, what's going on? We got 30-foot waves on Lake Michigan last week in northern Michigan. No way, Joey, jeez. Dude. Something went dude. I don't even know how that freaking happens. But, here.
Oh, this is space. I'm in
Fluffy
space.
gifted 5. What's going on? Oh.
Oh, this is space.
Hey,
I'm in
Splashers
space.
with 5. Thank you very much. That's all system gifted 10.
Oh, this is space. I'm in space.
Thanks, guys. Oh. That's bad. Yeah, that's... Based on Scott Manley's vid, it seems like they may have either forgotten to put the pins in to lock the platform, or the pins failed and the thrust vacuum sucked it out. Oh. That's the entire, like, service gantry for to hook the rocket in.
Discovery, go and
Splash
throttle
Twitch,
up.
sending love from Texas. Go Vega and happy holidays. Thanks, man. Oh boy. Hot box.
Go and throttle
55-month resub. That'll buff out. People are saying 6+ months out of service. That's...
Discovery, go and throttle up.
I hadn't seen the pictures up close until now. That's bad. That's really bad. Hey, PHP, what's going on? 14-month resub.
Discovery,
Sidewinder
go
with a
and throttle up.
22. They absolutely cannot launch without that, correct? Yeah. So that's the service gantry for hooking up the igniters. Hey, Dean gifted another 5 over there. Thanks, man. How are you today? I'm all right, dude.
Discovery, go
Yeah.
and throttle up.
So Soyuz, how that part of the pad works. Okay. It's been a while. I'm going to have to remember this. Okay. Underneath the pad, the launch deck here. Take a look at it. Take a look at it from this picture. This is a before and after from Katya Pavlichenko. So you see there's a shelf down here. So you have your launch table here, right? And it's a pedestal that's out over the flame trench, right? Down here, right? It's very clear that there are passageways down there. These are emergency egress passageways for anybody that cares. And the train is a servicing vehicle. The train is not there when the rocket launches. The train goes away. So down here, right? It's a shelf. The piece that shot out, that went out this way, this piece here, it actually retracts. It can move back and forth underneath the launch table. It goes this way. I'm pretty sure it's this way. It's on rails. It can actually move back and forth. Now, what is this piece? What is that thing for? What does it do? It's the servicing gantry for Soyuz. Soyuz doesn't have... Yeah, actually, Katya has really good pictures of it. How Soyuz... Yeah, see? It's on rails. It moves back and forth. These are actually great pictures. And it moves underneath the pad. So how this whole thing works is when Soyuz goes... When they put a Soyuz on the pad, it uses an erector, okay? I just got to see how much time we have left over here. Okay, all right, I got a couple minutes. I'll explain this real fast. Soyuz is on an erector. You guys have seen it most likely. Let me just get a picture here.
This is space. I'm in space.
So, the erector is actually just holding the first stage boosters right there. Hey, Gold Fever, gifted 5. Let's swamp her with a 15. I'll 7 and 11 with 17 months. All right. This thing backs up to the pad and it stops right here. There's a pivot point that's out over the pad, and these two hydraulic rams actually they go in over the circle, and they actually rotate downwards, and they hook the thing in. It hooks the erector to the pad, and then a huge hydraulic takes the erector and it's kind of a cantilever. It puts the rocket into the pad. Now, a lot of people don't know, or if you don't know, Soyuz doesn't have hold down points down at the bottom of the rocket. There's no hold down points down there. The hold down points for a Soyuz are actually a mid vehicle for the most part. The hold down points are up here. They're on the second stage, which is this in the West we'd call it a core stage. That's the hold down point. You can see it right there. So when Soyuz launches, the hold down points slip out and away on a counterweight. You can see that in this picture. See this right here? The counterweights are all there. Their umbilicals are just counterweighted with a hydraulic damper. So when the rocket achieves higher than 1.0 TWR, it'll start going up. It'll slip out of its hold down points and those things will retract. So if the hold down points are up here and they're on top of the launch table, what the hell is down there? Well, Soyuz, the first and second stage on a Soyuz rocket, which once again is the core stage and the 4 boosters, right? Hey, Audrey, what's going on? These things. All this down here with the 4 RD-107s and a single RD-108 in the center. These clusters of nozzles are all, there's 5 engines here. 4 on the boosters, 1 on the second stage. So once again, the first stage is all 5 of these engines working in tandem. The second stage is just the RD-108. So after they separate,
Discovery, go at throttle up.
this is the second stage. That's the third stage over there. So there's no hold down points down here. There's nothing there. So what is down here? Well, the RD-107 and the RD-108 cannot They cannot start by themselves. The igniter mechanism for the pad is used on 4 arms that are down in the launch table. And the 4 arms will start your engines. How do they do that? They stick a match up the nozzle. The igniter arms have a match. I'm not even kidding. It's just a match that's about this big. They strike the match, and basically a siphon effect starts the pump. It's really, really simple. Real simple. It's like if you guys have ever seen like a science experiment where they have a glass bottle and it's full of like methane, and they throw a match in it and the flames kind of go up, and then it goes that. Actually that, but with rocket engines. It's just a match. You stick a match. How are you going to start the engine? Stick match up nozzle. Okay. So this service gantry is for those. Yeah, in these pictures that Katya posted here, these are the service gantries for the igniter arms, and it's all on a slide that can move back and forth underneath the launch table. And that's what that big old honking structure is down here. Like, if you look at the whole table, it's nice and thick. That servicing gantry's down there. Now, I have no clue why that thing would eject itself out the pad, but that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like it just rolled right out and fell. That's not going to be cheap to fix. Yeah, that's not great. Anyway, I'll talk more about that in a second. This is the KOMPSAT-7 launch. KOMPSAT is a Korean satellite that's being launched on a Vega-C rocket. The Vega-C rocket is launching from Kourou, French Guiana. It's launching from... yeah, from Kourou. What's the name of this pad? The name of this pad is ELV, I think, is the name of the pad, which is... yeah. It's from the Arianespace Center in French Guiana. The Vega is a 4-stage medium-duty launch vehicle. It has 3 solid first stages. So you got the P120, and then the Safiro 40, and then the Safiro 22, I think, is the 3rd stage. So there's 1 stage here, another stage here, another stage here. And then the 4th stage is a hypergolic stage that's based, that's called the Avum upper stage.
Top. H0 moins 1 minute.
Okay,
We are 1 minute to launch.
We are 1 minute to launch. Yeah, Vega-C is a medium-duty launch vehicle, and it's launching KOMPSAT-7 for Korea. This is the Korean Aerospace Research Institution in KASA, which is the Korean Aeronautics and Space Administration. Okay. Let's start ourselves up with a rocket launch here. 35 seconds out. 6 shirt. Thank you for me. Hoonigan gave it to me. I didn't buy this. They gave it to me. Because I have one of their trucks. All right, 20 seconds.
À tous le DDO. Attention pour le décompte final.
It's possible, Dean. Yeah, well, we can talk more about what's going on with Soyuz in a moment. 10 seconds.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
3,
2,
1. Boom!
Allumage P120, décollage.
There she goes! P120C ignition and Vega-C is gone, baby, gone.
Le pilotage est calme, la propulsion est nominale.
Propulsion is good. 20 seconds in, everything looks right here. Now, interesting thing, the first stage of Vega, it's a Vega-C, is a P120C. That's actually the attachable solid rocket motor for Ariane 6.
Acquisition de la télémesure par la station de Saint-Jean-du-Maroni.
No, Wolfie, it goes. It goes. Solids go hard.
Vega-C and KOMPSAT-7.
Propulsion is good, 50 seconds in.
Their journey. Vega-C pushing itself against the gravity of our planet. into the equatorial skies over the Guyana Space Center. We are heading out north.
You got pitch
over
and roll
the
right now,
Atlantic.
goalie, and that's pretty much
Look
it.
at that. Beautiful clear skies here with some fluffy
La
clouds.
trajectoire est nominale.
What's the fuel on
He's
Ariane?
telling us
On Ariane 6?
everything is going according.
On Ariane 6, it has solid rocket attachable boosters in either 2 or 4. And then the core stage for Ariane 6 is hydrogen and oxygen. And same with the second stage.
A lot of power, and the launcher needs that power to tear itself from away from Earth.
Indeed, and that's the job of the first 3 stages, to tear us away from gravity, which is
Le
pulling
pilotage
us
est
back
calme, la
down.
propulsion est nominale.
Everything's going well. he's
Propulsion is
telling us.
good.
And right now we are burning, that's the engine that you can see is actually the P20 engine. It's the engine on the first stage. It's very powerful, isn't it?
Yes,
No.
P120.
No,
so
it's a P120, not a P20.
very powerful first stage, thrust at liftoff of 4,300 kilonewton. It's delivering the punch of approximately 440 tons of force, so that's a lot of energy packed into a single solid rocket motor.
Solid rocket motor.
Fantastic images there of the P120
There you
burning.
go, Katie.
The next event will
Le
be
pilotage est
these
calme, la propulsion est
You like
nominale.
it, Ewok?
switching off of that
pretty good,
engine.
right?
That's coming up in a
pretty
few
good.
seconds' time.
Okay,
And we can see
staging.
it there.
Séparation du P120.
And we have
Should
confirmation
get ignition
from
on
the
the
range
Zephyr 40
operations
here.
manager that
Allumage
the
du Z40. La propulsion est
One-
nominale.
P20 has
Good.
been separated, and we've switched on the engine of
I don't know,
the
Redbeard, maybe.
Z40. Everything is going well, so we don't need that anymore, so we can
Le pilotage est
jettison
calme,
it.
tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
Everything's good.
And we are shedding weight. We are now burning the Z40, the second stage, Vincent.
Yes, the second stage called Zefiro 40, enfin, Z for Zefiro, Z40, Italian, yes, for a type of wind.
You can see on the left-hand side are the events that will be coming up during the launch, and the blue line, if you
Le
like, at the
pilotage est
bottom
calme, la propulsion est nominale.
is us flying into space, and he's telling us that everything is going
How do they
well.
handle staging between the
And on
SRB?
bottom
Just don't turn it
right-hand
off.
side of your screen is the altitude distance from the pad.
I'm not 100%
and
sure
our
what
speed in
Vega-C
kilometers
uses,
per
goalie.
second.
I
Good
would
shot of the
imagine it's just a
fairing
straight
there,
decoupler.
protecting our
You
satellite.
can't use ullage. There's no ullage. There's no liquid fuel.
Of the launcher, so it has
So they probably
job,
just
so it's
separate it
protecting,
and ignite the engine
spacecraft
like right
against
after.
the
Who
acoustic
cares if the
vibration.
120C gets damaged?
It's
It's
also
not a big deal.
protecting
La
against,
trajectoire est
against
nominale. Tous les
friction
paramètres à bord sont
when the
normaux.
launcher flies through the
Okay,
this part of the
trajectory is
atmosphere.
good from the mission
And
director.
that, aerodynamic friction generate the significant environment, and for instance vibrations, of course, and heat for the spacecraft. And once we exceed the atmosphere, this aerodynamic
Propulsion
load
is good.
reduce, so we can jettison the fairing, and the principle is to avoid dragging mass
Okay.
that is no longer
So
useful
you're gonna
for
get-
the mission.
Indeed, that's
You're
the
going to
name
get a
of the
quick
game,
sequence of events here. The
to
Zephyr 40
jettison
will
every
separate.
section of the rocket as we
Okay, be
fly.
quiet. The Zephyr 40 will separate, and then they'll immediately ignite the Z9, the Zephyr 9, which is the third stage. And then after that, you'll get fairing separation, or separation la coiffe. There's separation. She's coasting for a second. Zephyr 9 ignition.
Allumage du Z9. Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
Separation la
And
coiffe.
we've switched the engine on the Z9. Everything's going normally.
Séparation coiffe.
And we have separated the
normal.
fairing. You can see it there on the animation falling away in.
So it looks like on this launch, they're getting a slight, they have a slight anti-normal burn. So it's kind of drifting a little bit. That's to get it to the right orbit. Trajectory is on. Trajectory's on. They're
Yes, the satellite for the first time on top of
that.
the
Yeah.
launcher, so
This
secure,
everything looks fine here.
on the adapter with a specific metallic belt called the clamp band. Yes.
And quickly, just to explain here on the top right-hand side of your screen, you can see the
Yes.
green line is the trajectory.
Yes, the trajectory. So in green.
Hello.
Analysis, and in the yellow curve give us a real-time trajectory, so we can see that we are perfectly on track, in line with the prediction, and the cross is the real-time position of the launcher.
We've started
Vega-C
something
is
that
a
we call
medium-duty rocket,
orbit
Hugo,
optimized
somewhat analogous to
guidance
Antares.
attitude. What's that?
Yes,
Antares,
the
Firefly
onboard
Alpha.
computer continually recalculates its
Yeah,
position
it's somewhere
process
around there.
to make sure
It's a pretty
that,
good, it's a pretty good
it's
little
on the
vehicle,
right course.
considering it's made out of
And,
basically
if
spare
it
parts.
deviates, it corrects its position and comes back to
Le pilotage
the
est calme, la
planned
propulsion est
trajectory. So this is clever.
So the magic number we're looking for here is 7,600. Anything
very
above that's
onboard
good
computer we have,
at
on
this
the-
altitude.
on the launcher.
A couple.
Looking here at these CGI.
We got about a minute here until Z9 flame out and separation, and then you'll get the radial inburn to control apogee here. Basically what they're doing with this is turning the booster down a little bit, and if your trajectory is going this way and you kind of nose down a little ways, you're going to be able to more completely control your apogee. This is because you're burning out of vector, out of prograde vector here. This is basically the equivalent of imparting a cosine thrust loss on an SRB. What that basically will do is allow your apogee, the highest point in your orbit, to kind of stay relatively. You don't want it to. If you keep accelerating, it'll exponentially get higher. You don't want it to get higher. You want it to stay about the same. So they're burning radial in.
Separation there.
Z9 separation.
Of the Z9. That's confirmed.
Allumage du premier boost AVUM.
It's about the
And
size of a
we
minivan,
have
Flykin.
the first switching on of the Avon.
Okay. EVM upper stage ignition is good. See how it's kind of correcting here. That's basically if you turn like that and you turn, the first turn they turn to the left, which is a normal burn. It's what's called an out of plane burn. That's to kind of see how the trajectory kind of doglegs a little bit. That's what that was for. That is there to basically negate out the orbital velocity of Earth spinning, because it launched with an imparted velocity on it. So they kind of have to dogleg the trajectory a little bit to basically null out the rotational force imparted from it launching from a planet that's spinning. I mean, Earth spins. I don't know if you guys knew that. The second one where they burned radial down was basically making sure that the altitude of their orbit doesn't go too high. That will swap. That's called a radial inburn. Radial inburns will control perigee or control apogee, and they'll decrease apogee or increase perigee depending on how far of a nosedive you take. Are you able to see this? Probably not. Big Boo, a whole year of Aegis. Thanks for the 12, man. Danzu had some bits in there too. I appreciate it. Hillness at 111-month resub. Thank you. Yeah, see, the AVM is not nearly as powerful as even the C9, so you're going to see speed go up very slow. Once again, the magic number that we're looking for here is about 7.6. If this is going to some type of sun synchronous orbit, it might be a little bit above that, like 7.62 millimeter. Maybe. Not millimeter, it's kilometers a second. But it's all metric to me.
That's the orbit where
But yeah, those slews that the thing did, that's on purpose. That's basically a way of modulating the thrust on the SRB, because if you're not burning in the direction that you're going, only some of the rocket's exhaust velocity is going to push you in the direction that you're going.
Sun synchronous orbit. That is a special type of orbit.
Yeah, they're in an
Go and throttle
SSO.
up.
This satellite's going to a sun synchronous orbit, which is, they just said it on the cast. I just heard it. This type of rocket, so the final orbit is probably going to be about 550 by 550 kilometers, 97 degrees inclined. So it's a slightly retrograde orbit, which does explain the slew. The slew is not just there to correct to take into account the orbital spinning correction. It's there to actually push this thing slightly into a retrograde orbit. A retrograde orbit is basically something that goes counteractive to the way that the Earth is spinning. So if the Earth spins like this, a retrograde orbit is spinning anywhere past 90 degrees in the opposite direction. Hey, Maslin, what's up, dude? 123-month resub. The payload adapter looks like a Mercury capsule. Yeah, I know, right? No, RT, yeah. Vega goes, man. It goes hard. No, it's dialed in. They did have some problems with the Saphira 40. The Saphira 40 had some thrust, or had some throat delamination in past designs. They did fix it, though.
And it allows us to track the flight in real time.
Indeed,
Yeah,
you
this
can see
probably
there
is too
that
far
Gatineau
east
tracking
for me to
station.
see.
That's in Canada. And the tracking stations actually send...
Okay, there's an acquisition of
and
signal
that's,
from
confirmed
Gatineau in
there.
Canada.
They send the data here to a hillside just outside the spaceport of the Arianespace Center, and inside these teams are the quick look telemetry teams. Very important job.
Yeah, they are receiving those real-time data from the launcher.
I'm on lunch break, so things are going well. There you go, Master. Yeah, we're past orbital velocity, so she's up there. 7.61.
So they compare the live data from the rocket to what
Live
has been
data.
predicted. This allows them to continuously analyze the launcher
7.62.
behavior and confirm that it is as expected. It's a bit like the doctor.
So
checking
Extinction
the
à
ends
boom,
to verify
up there,
that everything
top
is
right.
fine on
It's
board.
going a little bit
Team,
past 7600, like I said.
charge is located in Gallio on La Montagne
I'm gonna
de
say
Terre,
7.66 or 67,
the launch pad.
somewhere in there.
The mountain of the fathers.
Hey, Perky,
Discovery,
Sorry.
go at throttle up.
90-month resub.
Actually, it's very beautiful. So those teams in the quick.
I'm French. I'm honestly pretty sure they amplified that French
They
accent.
are actually
Oui,
on
monsieur.
an internal comms loop, and they're passing the information to the
Bolek,
operation
15-month
Discovery,
resub.
go
Thank you
on,
very
You
much.
can see him there, and he then announces confirmation of all those major events to everybody here at the spaceport, because as you can imagine, it's a big place. So everyone across the range is listening in to his announcements.
It actually might be 7700. It's gonna go a little bit further because we're sun synchronous, so it's 500 by 550 by 550, give or take. So that's why I knew it was gonna go a little bit past orbital velocity.
Actually, the stations, they're not actually seeing the rocket, are they? Because obviously it's deep.
Favorite
deep
drone
in
sh-
space.
drone
You
ship?
can't see
Short
it
fall
with
at
their own eyes.
gravitas.
But they are sensing it, right?
Yes, Katie. When we talk about the visibility of a rocket,
It is in
we
the
are
job
talking
description.
about how
You
the ground
must
station-
have a very big accent. This is where we launch the rocket. The rocket is firing the Evum upper stage right now. Can you explain how you are in sun synchronous orbit but also in a polar orbit? So Kevin, a sun synchronous orbit is actually 97 degrees inclined. It could be 97 through like 100 degrees inclined. That's not exactly a polar orbit. That's actually past polar. A polar orbit would be around 90, like 89, 90, 91. That's basically polar. Anything past 90 degrees inclination is going to be what's called a retrograde orbit. That's where sun synchronous is. So why are these orbits, why put it here? What is sun synchronous? What does that mean? So the Earth, if you understand the Earth is kind of an oblate spheroid, right? It's not perfectly round. It's kind of like a giant spinning jello mold, I guess. It's kind of just wobbling, and we're floating basically on the cooled crust of a gigantic iron and nickel jello mold, right? No, this is pertinent. Listen, right? The Earth's kind of churning and bubbling. The center of gravity basically is not really in the geometric center of the Earth. So like if we, went North Pole, South Pole, geometric north, geometric south, and met right in the center, your center of gravity is not going to be exactly aligned to that. It's kind of shifts, kind of moves around a little bit. And because of that, Earth kind of weeble wobbles. It's just a big floating iron and nickel jello mold hurling through space at like 66,000 miles an hour. Pretty cool, right? Now, because of this, because Earth's geometric center and its center of gravity is kind of offset, it wants to wiggle around. That produces what's called a gravitational perturbation for spacecraft flying around flying around the planet. Now, keep in mind, this doesn't affect like planes or anything. Planes aren't going fast enough for this to really make a difference. But spacecraft, though, get affected by that, what basically a non-uniform gravitational pull. So it's not enough for us to notice. Like if I'm in France and I dropped a baseball, like first of all, the French would be like, what the heck is that? I do not know what that is. What is this? We do not play baseball here. What is baseball? And I'd be like, don't worry about it, man. It's freedom ball, all right? If I dropped the baseball like next to the Eiffel Tower and then I went, flew to New York and dropped the baseball there in Yankee Stadium, right? It's there. You're not going to notice the difference too much. But there is a slight difference, just depending on where you are. It's mostly around 9.8 meters a second per second, 32 feet per second, but it does vary. That little tiny variation is caused by that non-uniform gravitational pull. And that little tiny variation can be used to perturb an orbit. So at 97 degrees inclined at about 500 kilometers, somebody that's way smarter than me a little while ago figured out that slight perturbing force can put you into a resonant orbit that has your satellite's orbit synchronized with the sun. Meaning that the orbit moves a little bit every time the satellite goes around. It's moved by Earth's non-uniform gravitational pull. That perturbing force is called precession, and that precession can actually move a satellite in orbit around. That makes it so basically the satellite flies over the same spot at the same time every day. Synchronous to the sun, synchronous to morning. I mean, you could have a sun synchronous orbit that's synchronous to nighttime, but that's a little weird. These types of orbits are basically used for satellites that need to look down at things. And generally, if you have an Earth observation satellite here, the have them flamed out. Generally, if you have an Earth observation satellite here, you basically want, think about like if you're taking pictures of the Earth from here going down, you generally want the sun to be behind you. Think of it like a flashbulb almost. So if you're, spying on an enemy's airbase or something with an Earth observation satellite or looking at their missile silos or doing whatever the heck you do when you look down on Earth, you generally want the sun to be backlighting you. That's why sun synchronous orbits are really important. They're great for Earth observation satellites. They're great for spying on people. Yeah. 7.78. Yeah. Okay. It's going to go down. 7.79 staging there. So what's the difference between this and a polar orbit? Well, a polar orbit basically stays at 90 degrees and it can just kind of stay there. But if you just perturb that polar orbit just a little bit and put it at like 97, you'll use precession to basically fly over the same spot at the same time every day. It's just, sun resonant orbit, or sun synchronous is what everybody calls it. That's where this satellite is going because the Koreans want to be looking down at something. I mean, you could probably figure out what they're trying to look at just by the launch corridor. What is KOMPSAT? Hold on. Is a lightweight Earth observation satellite developed by the Korean Aerospace Research Institute. It's the follow-up of KOMPSAT-3A. It is being developed with the goal of providing high-resolution satellite image to satisfy national needs. It's a South Korean spy satellite. Okay, cool. There you go. .30 centimeter resolution in panchromatic mode, 1.2 meters in color and 4 meter in infrared. Yeah, that's a spy satellite. Cool. Yeah, that's a spy satellite. So yeah, that's the difference. The sun synchronous orbit is going to get you, it's going to use precession to your advantage. Now, the interesting thing here is that Earth's precession is going to, it just doesn't affect you right there. That polar orbit that we're talking about is still going to be affected by precession, and the satellite is going to have to station keep. It's going to have to fire its thrusters to compensate for it. It's not a lot, once again. Like maybe the thrust of like a desk fan or something, like it's about that much. But over time, that will screw you up, or you could use it to your advantage, like what this satellite is doing. That is a subset of orbital mechanics called orbital perturbations. That's basically anything that's not the spacecraft thrusters influencing your orbit. That's really important to understand. Everything affects everything in space. Everything has a certain amount of gravitational pull. Some things have more gravitational pull than others. The sun has more gravitational pull than Earth. Jupiter has more gravitational pull than Earth. Your mom has more gravitational pull than the sun. Everything's going to affect everything. And every time a satellite is just orbiting around Earth, if Jupiter is near it, it's going to pull it in that direction. Not by much, but it'll pull it. What? Hey, you understood what I'm talking about. I love how the governments use fancy words to disguise the purpose of their top secret military project. It is an Earth observation satellite into sun synchronous. They're spying on North Korea. That's most likely what's going on. Like, I'm not one to presume, but that's probably what's happening here. And probably China too by proxy if I had to guess, but whatever. Alexis, hey, 85-month resub. Merci beaucoup, monsieur. Nightbot is not happening right now. But yeah, even the ISS. The ISS is subject to orbital perturbations. Now, the ISS is subject to a slightly different orbital perturbation. Precession still does affect the ISS's orbit. Precession affects any type of orbit around Earth. The ISS is mostly subjected to aerodynamic perturbations. Yeah, you heard that right. Drag. Atmospheric drag. Even where the ISS is at about 400 kilometers circular at 51.6 degrees inclined, it's still skirting the top of Earth's atmosphere. Once again, I wouldn't go outside the ISS and take your helmet off and try to take a breath of fresh air. That would probably end badly. But it is enough to cause a slight amount of drag, just a little bit. And that makes it so the ISS constantly has to station keep. The lunch went good? Oui, monsieur. So, yeah, everything affects everything up there. Every planet, like, even when we're closer, like, you know, if the Earth, you know, you have the sun right here at the center and Earth's out here doing its thing, Jupiter will sometimes get closer to the Earth than, you know, if it was on the other side of the sun or something. Yeah, you got to take that into account. Spacecraft need to constantly correct. They need to constantly correct. It's like if you had a buoy floating in the middle of the ocean, right in the like dead center of the Atlantic Ocean. If it's just floating there, if you let it go, it's just going to find its way to, it'll find its way to like the east coast of the US because of just how the currents work, right? It would need to constantly have thrusters to kind of stay in position. Space works a lot like that too, but not with water. I mean, there is ice up there. There's all kinds of crap up there. But it's with gravitational pull instead of currents. So right now, what the Avum upper stage is doing is putting this into the right attitude for deployment, which should be happening in about 10 minutes. I'm going to be sad when they decommission the ISS and let it re-enter. It is what it is, dude. It's old. Replace it with something new. It's going to suck. Don't get me wrong. That's going to suck. That's not going to be cool, but they could be looking at themselves. I mean, Lord Google, if the satellite is designed to image North Korea at like 9 a.m. every day, just due to the nature of orbital mechanics, I'm pretty sure you can do both of those things. This thing does have a pretty trick sensor imaging suite aboard. They have panchromatic mode, color mode, and infrared, which means they can take 3 different types of pictures all at once. So North Korea, last time I checked, is close to South Korea, so you could probably do both of those things. I mean, sun synchronous orbits, guys, is not just for it's not just for spying on each other. There are, let's say, civilian applications here. The civilian applications are like monitoring coastal erosion. That's a big one. That's important. You know, to kind of see how the climate is changing. That's kind of important. They're used to monitor like forestation or deforestation. You could see if, you know, oh, these trees are growing up in those mountains that I don't feel like going up there and checking, right? Just image them with the satellite. There's a lot of Earth sciences that are done with Earth observation satellites and sun synchronous. I do believe that the Sentinel satellite that SpaceX launched, I think it was, I have to look. It was 2 weeks ago. think it actually launched like, yeah, this weekend or something. Sentinel-1, no, not Sentinel-1D. Sentinel-6B launched out of Vandenberg on the 17th of November on a Falcon 9 with an RTLS. That was going to sun synchronous, and that's a NASA probe that is designed for climate research and Earth observation. It doesn't necessarily have to be for evil reasons. Yeah, of course, Lord Gugu. This one is probably... It's probably doing both, like I said. But yeah, not all sun synchronous orbits are used for like spying on people. Do you know how the verniers on Delta 2 work to control the roll? Can they gimbal or are they installed off center? I don't know. Give me 1 second. I'd have to look it up. Okay. So, if I'm understanding this right, Lev, this is an RS-27. Gas generator exhaust is there. The vernier thrusters are right here. I can't really see how they work, but I'm guessing that there's a thruster pointed that way and a thruster pointed that way to be able to roll it. Now, what their manner of actuation is, I have no idea. It could be ullage. It could be a bunch of stuff.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
It includes 2 vernier engines to provide vehicle roll control during flight. Hey, Martin. 16-month resub. Almost a year and a half. Yep. It might be a tap-off of it for the verniers, but I'm not sure. Is there a jackhammer going in the background? It's Starbase Live. So right now, VV28 KOMPSAT-7 is still attached to the Avum upper stage and payload attachment fitting. We should be getting a deploy here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Hey, Element. Yeah, it was good. It was good. By the way, welcome back. I hope your turkey day was filling. Yeah, it was great. Yep. Hey, Sad, what's going on? Nah, it's one vernier on the center porting 45 degrees down, so they could probably gimbal, but I cannot find any confirmation. If you knew what it was, Lev, why did you ask me? Nice shirt. Thanks, Eutychus. Fluffy, you could send me a DM if you want. I do that for people sometimes. If you're looking at a car you want to buy, link it up. We'll look at it on stream. I'll show you exactly what to look for. I know most vehicles at this point. Looks like they have one more boost. Oh yeah, second boost. Yep. I can't find any word about it. They just say they have them. Yeah. This is the... So the Avalon upper stage is right here. This is the payload attachment, and then that lip right there was used where the quaff, the fairing attached. And then you have your payload attachment fitting here, and then you have your decoupler right there, and then this is the satellite here. Have you seen the Age of Disclosure document? No, I don't know what that is. EJ takes a week off and Baikonur falls apart. Dude, that's spoiled. That's bad. That's the service gantry for the igniters. That's, not great. Yeah, that's bad.
Discovery,
that's bad.
go at throttle up.
Hey, Badojo, 12 months, 1 year. Grazie, signori. Why is it so large, New Glenn? It's so large so it fits in the fairing correctly. I know it looks kind of goofy. It looks like there's... The satellite, I mean, the satellite's bigger than the stage. The Avum upper stage is very small. It's a very small stage. It makes Vega-C look a little bit goofy, if you ask me, but it's a good rocket. It's not a bad rocket. The more expensive repairs, the better. I mean, Kem, somebody... Someone messed up. That thing... Dude, that thing weighs... It's got to weigh at least 20, 30 tons. How does that thing roll off the side of the pad? There's no way that did that from like maintenance, like deferred maintenance. There's no way. In order to fly off the pad like that, it would have to have some inertia, and that means that something on the rocket made it do that. Are the rails still intact? I have no idea. It's definitely strange. They have been surprisingly fast with Booster 19. Dude, I called that. All right? Just on a quick side note. The last flame trench that I did, not last week, but the week before I went on vacation, I said that Booster 19 would be done by Christmas. And then SpaceX announced 2 days later that it'll be done by Christmas. I called that. I called that. Like that, and once again, no one tells me this stuff. I guessed. That was a guess. But it was a logical guess. Dude, I freaking called it. And I apparently pissed off a lot of people at Blue Origin saying what I said. That 9x4 looks ridiculous in that last flame trench. Sorry, guys. It looks a little strange. Don't worry, you'll figure it out. I'm not worried. It's just a little strange looking. I thought for sure they were going to try to reuse the top half of the booster in the transfer tube. I wouldn't X-Wing. There's no need to do that. You have an assembly line, dude. Any chance of possibility of sabotage? I highly doubt it. This is most likely budget cuts at Roscosmos because they're trying to fund other endeavors. Let's say they're fighting a war. They probably wipe their tail with Roscosmos' budget if I had to guess. But I know talking about that ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine is going to have all the wackos come out. So we all know war is not great. And that is the reason why I think they're screwing with why the pad broke. And let's just leave it at that. I don't want to talk about that. You made Blue mad? I guess I pissed off a couple of people saying that 9x4 looks ridiculous. What I really was saying on Flame Trench was that that's probably placeholder. It looks ridiculous right now because it's probably a placeholder. there are some things you got to flesh out with that engine section, with everything else. And I really don't think that it's going to end up looking exactly like that. Just like the renders of New Glenn from 2017 when they first teased it. It didn't look like that. It looked different. It looked different than how it looks now, right? There's a replay of the Vega launch. But apparently that made people angry. I don't know what the heck's going on there. And then I actually read the comment section for that flame trench. People think I'm some kind of SpaceX shill or something, which is all right. Okay. You know why I like SpaceX? Because they launch. Like, it's not rocket science. They launch a lot. I like launching a lot. If Blue launches a lot, I will like them as well. Pics of what, Vasya? How many different renders of Starship have we seen? Yeah, exactly. Renee, that's what I was suggesting. Some people took that the wrong way, though. I don't know, man. I don't know what that's about. Are we just going to now roll into space news? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if you guys want to do that, we can do that. That's fine. To be fair, the whole flame trench is a SpaceX gargle fest. You think so, Pogo? Oh, it's... Vasya, you want to look up New Glenn 9x4, 9x4. It's not a bad rocket. Super capable. 70 metric tons to low Earth orbit and 20 tons translunar injection. Pretty good little vehicle. It's not little. It's big. It's a big one. Now, Pogo, was that a recent flame trench, the one that I wasn't a part of, or was that the, is that just on the whole? If you were rolling into space news, did you see the unsub podcast with Jared? No, I haven't watched that. Orang. Can't play it because they have music going in the background, but we should get a relight here on the Ovum upper stage here in a moment. It's orange. Yeah, it's that dissimilar redundancy. Yeah, that, dude, Site 31 at Baikonur getting destroyed is very bad for NASA. That's really bad. I think I wish the criticism of all other players was the same. I have criticisms of SpaceX, Pogo. I can't speak for my coworkers at NSF. I think if you really want to know, dude, I think that SpaceX is having some trouble with their COPV handling. There's no quality assurance right now for Starship, but that's because, but I know the reason. The reason why, should get a Avum upper stage ignition here. The reason why is because they're scaling up the factory, dude. We don't know what mass producing rockets looks like. And if you're trying to mass produce to keep your, to stay hardware rich like Starship, you're going to run into these problems. It's like if you think about it, like if there's a new car out. So, okay, Tesla, let's say Tesla, for instance, when the Model S came out in like 2012, the first Teslas had atrociously bad panel gap, like atrociously bad. They were terrible. That's because Tesla really didn't have a lot of experience with mass producing automobiles, right? Right? The quality was awful. It was bad. Way worse than it is now. It's a lot better now that you ramped up, right? SpaceX is running into those same quality problems. Unfortunately, with Tesla, fortunately with Tesla, though, it's just bad panel gap. With rockets, QA problems usually translate into the rocket exploding, which is what we saw. People hate on Blue, but Blue has a one-up on SpaceX. They have a lander that's ready for the moon that's going to fly next year to the moon. Okay? No, I got you, Pogo. Yeah, no. SpaceX isn't without their criticisms. They really need to get those QA problems figured out. Booster 18 popped because someone mishandled a COPV. I'm pretty dang sure. Okay, EVM is 45 degrees prograde radial in, downwards. So right now what they're doing is they're adjusting so radial in at 97 degrees inclined over. You'd be adjusting your not argument of perigee. Right angle of ascending node is what they would be changing here. They're doing some slight changing to the orbit by tilting the thing down. That's probably to get it into its final orbit here. And we should see a flame out of the EVM upper stage here. SpaceX never went down the single launch lander route, so of course Blue Origin is ahead of that. Yeah. There's some good things and thoughts, but a lot of things about Polaris and Inspiration 4. Cool. My guess is that it was not secured properly, and when the exhaust plumes got into the thing, it pushed it out. It would probably be more vibrations, New Glenn, regarding the Soyuz launch table to move it. It'd be more vibrations than vacuum. Rocket engines put out a lot of thrust, but you ain't going to convince me that the Coanda effect is going to pull that thing out of the launch table. Okay.
To do that, the upper stage will be performing a set of maneuvers.
Okay. There is the shutoff of the EVM. 577 kilometers, 7.65 kilometers a second. Huh. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Just needed to do it in my head real quick. It depends on the coefficient of friction. A vacuum could pull something that heavy out. It's possible. Spoiled. I'd have to watch the launch, dude. But to be 100% honest, you're not wrong, and I don't think I'm not wrong either. It's most likely a combination of both. The vibrations and the vacuum probably pulled it out. That in my mind would be enough. Everybody seems so set on like, oh, the vacuum pulled it out. The vacuum. Probably not. It's probably not just vacuum. If the vibration got it going, if the vibration was enough to even get it moving just a little bit, the vacuum will pull that thing completely. And there we go. Separation of KOMPSAT-7.
Over Jeju Island. South Korea has a new satellite. You can see it's moving away gently from the mothership. So that's great news. Huge congratulations to everybody and to all the teams now at Kari who are taking on their new satellite. You can see it moving.
All right, cool. Oh.
And we're hearing from the range operations manager that everything is
EVM can
normal.
deorbit from here,
so,
Jim. Yep.
Vincent, the teams at Kari will be going through a
Sweet. Yeah, Jim, they'll probably dispose of that stage. And keep in mind, disposal doesn't mean complete deorbit of the EVM. Okay. It doesn't mean complete deorbit of the EVM. All this upper stage needs to do is put its perigee below like 400, and it'll eventually come back down because of aerodynamic perturbations. Now, 575 is high enough to where Earth's atmosphere is thin enough that it's not going to make a difference too much. But if they just dip this thing down, do like maybe a 3 or 4 second burn with the EVM here at this point, it's probably enough to get it to at least re-enter. Aerobrake and re-enter.
The KOMPSAT-7 teams.
Yes, I can relax a little bit now.
That's right. For some, the job is now finished as the satellite is separated, but for others, it is just beginning for the teams at Kari. And of course, the
And the Koreans
teams
look pretty
here
proud there.
at the spaceport also going to go through now the process of deorbiting the upper stage. Looking here at some smiling faces amongst the customers. And we're hoping that we will be able to speak with Caroline Arnoux, who is the head of the Ariane and Vega business unit at Arianespace. Caroline, this is...
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, we don't need to do that. we don't need to do that. So that's going to do it for the VV28 KOMPSAT-7 Vega-C launch. So you guys want to talk about space news, and I think that'd be a good way to kind of get back into it. So let's I'm going to jog the VOD over on YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed the coverage, and we'll start up space news here. So stand by for a momentary loss of signal, and then we'll jump right in. I got a lot of space news to pick up today because I haven't been here for a week. So yeah, I'll see you guys momentarily. Or if you're watching the VOD, I hope you enjoyed the launch. It's pretty good. Pretty good launch. Good times. Be back in a second.